Mr. Abiscato.
Here.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri. Mr. Grillo.
Here.
Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Malinak. Mr. Musto's on his way. Mr. Schwepp. Mr. Bruno.
Here. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the following means. Annual notice was sent to the Herald and News, the Record, the South Bergenite, the Observer, Township Clerk, and posted in the lobby of the Town Hall and Board Office, setting forthcoming scheduled work meetings and public meeting of the Board. I'd like to have an approval of the minutes. Sue had a motion. Second. This is approval of minutes from meeting 16.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri. Mr. Grillo.
Abstain.
Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Malinak. Mr. Schwepp. Mr. Bruno.
4. 17.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri.
Four.
Mr. Grillo.
Abstain.
Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Malinak. Mr. Schwepp.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4. No one's going to speak, so we're moving on to finance. Ron?
Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of finance, facilities, and plan may so indicate now, and a separate motion for each of the accepted actions to be obtained. Here is done, I make motion that the board adopt items 1 through 7.
Second. Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri. Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Malinak. Mr. Schwepp.
4.
Mr. Bruno.
4. Education and curriculum. Ms. Alcieri.
Any board member who takes exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of Education and Curriculum Committee, so indicate now in a separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that we accept 1 to 3. But as a footnote to that, before someone seconds it, I just want to say under Education and Curriculum that I had the pleasure, along with 2 of my fellow board members, Ron Sweck and Beverly Alberti, to attend the play, the Lyndhurst High School play, Fools. It was directed by Christina Coppola and Jill Lozer. And it was very, very well done. The set was magnificent, and the children and the directors had put much work into it, and it showed. And kudos to the Fine Arts Department under the direction of Blake Spence. A job well done. Thank you. Also, number 2, I had the Education and Curriculum Committee with Beverly Alberti and Christy Malinak and Laura Bruno presented the implementation of rotating AB block schedule at our last Education and Curriculum Committee meeting. It was explained to us in such a way that we all understood, and kudos to Ms. Bruno for another job well done. Thank you. So hearing none, I make a motion that numbers 1 to 3 be accepted.
Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti. Ms. Alcieri.
4.
Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis. Ms. Malinak. Mr. Muscle 1, and curriculum, item 1 through 3. Excuse me, and curriculum. And curriculum, items 1 through 3. Okay. Mr. Schweck. 4. Mr. Bruno.
4. Policy and rules, Mr. Abiscato.
Board member to accept and behave the following listed actions under the category rules and regulations committee. We so indicate now. A separate motion for each of the accepted items to be entertained. Hearing none, I make a motion that we accept items 1, 2, 3.
Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti. 4. Ms. Alciuri. 4. Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis. 4. Ms. Malinak. 4. Mr. Musto. 4. Mr. Schweck. 4. Mr. Bruno.
4. Athletics, student activities, and substance abuse, Ms. Jarvis.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the transfer of one student from BCSSP's 8-week program in Hackensack Secondary North Street program into effective 7/7.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti. 4. Ms. Alciuri. 4. Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinak. 4. Mr. Musto. 4. Mr. Schweck. 4. Mr. Bruno.
4. Do we have any unfinished business? Nope. All right, hearing none, let's move on to new business. Ron?
Yeah, Mr. Bruno, I've been approached by someone that asked if we could consider into a track team, and I would like you to place that into please.
I recommend that we place a indoor track program to be studied by the committee, and yes,
Second?
roll call.
Okay, so that's going to be number 2. So you're going to have 1 and 2. So number 2 will place the consideration for indoor track team into the athletic committee. And I just asked a question, that would be for the 17-18 school year?
Yes. And everything will be worked out and completed by that
Okay,
time.
so now,
If it's okay.
under new business, you'll have items 1 and 2. So Mr. Schweck made the motion.
Second.
Is up curious.
Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti.
4.
Ms. Alciuri.
4.
Mr. Grillo. 4. Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinak.
4.
Mr. Musto. 4. Mr. Schweck. 4. Mr. Bruno.
4. Shauna, superintendent's report. You want to do, did we do personnel? 13, yes, we did do personnel. Personnel, Mr. Musto. Any conflicts with anyone?
Any board member takes any exception to any of the following listed actions under the category of personnel may so indicate now. A separate motion for each of the accepted actions will be entertained. Hearing none, I move to approve numbers 1 through 12.
Roll call.
Mr. Abiscato.
4.
Ms. Alberti.
4.
Ms. Alciuri. 4. Mr. Grillo.
4.
Ms. Jarvis.
4.
Ms. Malinak.
4.
Mr. Musto. 4. Mr. Schweck. 4. Mr. Bruno.
4. Okay. Now you're up. No? You want to take this? No? Or do we? Get out front.
Okay, I'm going to try to use my teacher voice and project as far back as I can, just so we can keep this a little more intimate, because this is a really, really special moment and one of those times that we really get to celebrate. And it's most important that we recognize the worthiness of what I'm about to speak to. So I just ask for your attention. Because I'm going to take you back almost a full year. And last January, we were presented by the New Jersey Department of Education with a challenge, if you will. district to come up with a candidate who would satisfy these following components. This person needed to be show exceptional educational talent as evidenced, and they wanted a lot of evidence, by effective instructional practices and student learning results in the classroom and the school. This candidate must have been rated effective or highly effective in the last 2 years. This candidate also needed exemplary educational accomplishments well beyond the classroom that provide models of excellence for the profession. The candidate also needed to show that he or she made contributions to education that are largely unheralded, yet worthy of the spotlight. This candidate needed to be engaging and offer an inspiring presence that motivates and impacts students, colleagues, and the community. And this candidate also needed to show strong long-range potential for professional and policy leadership. Now, this person needed to be someone who was in our district for 5 years or beyond. And I will tell you that our entire district administrative team came together for quite some time to look at a pool of candidates. And perhaps what was so wonderful was that we had such a large pool of candidates, and what was so challenging was that we could only put one forward to the New Jersey Department of Education. So we had a lot of work ahead of us. But truthfully, one candidate truly stood out above the others in every single aspect. And that's the person that we're going to be celebrating tonight, and she and her family is here with us, and that's Miss Karen Herman. I personally have the pleasure of working with Karen. She was a class support teacher at Lincoln School when I was in a great classroom across from Miss German. And she really was exceptional. Everything was done cooperatively, supportively, and she always was able to tell us more about our students than we as general education teachers could have ever known. And, you know, I also saw Karen through a few pregnancies and saw her beautiful children, you know, come into this blessed world. And, you know, I think that when Karen made this decision to go into a pre-K disabled classroom, it was quite a massive undertaking because the students that Karen and her team work together with each day really have very extensive needs. So, you know, one of the implementations Karen reviews are applied behavior analysis. And these behaviors are inclusive of, but not limited to, sensory overload, self-injurious behaviors, and stereotypical behaviors associated with the PSD population. And in most of these cases, students' maladaptive behaviors stem from their inability to communicate their basic wants and needs. Mrs. Herman works tirelessly to provide her students with various means of communication to alleviate this deficit. Picture communication systems for all students are in place, as are technology-based education programs, and her devotion to the development of social interactions to enhance communication skill sets is constantly integrated into her daily instructional practices. Her open-mindedness and thirst for feedback and critique incite her her to consistently collaborate with a wide range of service providers to ensure her students' every need is met. And I think this extends far beyond the classroom. And the one example that I think really struck us the most was the fact that, Karen recognizes that she's handling her students for a number of hours each day. But then she is releasing those students to parents who she wants to continue supporting her work at home. And the one story that really struck us when we had to do this application was the idea that Karen was presenting a mom who had wanted to have a birthday party for her child. But being a parent of students with special needs, she knew how much it would be to ask other parents to bring their kids to this party, because it's not what the general population would experience, where the kids go and party and moms and dads can chat. And she knows that her parents don't have that social atmosphere. And Karen, being a mom of 3 herself, on Saturday, chose to give her time and go to the birthday party so she could assist with the children. And those parents could, for that day, be parents of children and be able to socialize. And she would be there to give them the support and alleviate some of those fears that mom or dad might have going to a party type atmosphere. So when we talk about being a professional in the classroom and outside the classroom, when we talk about being a teacher in mind and in heart, and when we talk about being a consummate educator 24/7, they don't come any better than Karen Quinn. And to have this award from the Commissioner of Education be presented to us, it says so much for our district, and we can't say enough to you, to your team for supporting her.
I couldn't do it without them.
Every step of the way. But Karen, please understand that your name is amidst a pool of teachers that are extraordinary, and you stood out. And it was the hardest thing that we had to keep this entire process confidential. We had to sign a release that we kept it confidential. And we do feel so glad that it's now out there. Thank you. So thank you. Thank you all.
I got one thing.
Yes.
We're ready to close? I just want to say thank you to the people from Lyndhurst, all the citizens, all the voters, who passed the referendum. I don't know if you actually need me through the microphone, but thank you to everybody. Oh. Thank you to everybody here who voted yes. We passed our referendum, and we'll be fixing all the schools in our town. I just wanted to say thank you for coming out and voting.
Motion to adjourn? Second one?